Okay, so we are going to start the streaming. And we will seek advice for Rescapp documentation. I cannot hear myself. Why is that? Okay, it works. So, wait a moment. I'm going to share this video somewhere, just in case someone is around here. And that's it. So, what I'm going to show you right now is this is Rescapp 0.72-beta 7, so 0.72 beta 7, and this is Rescapp 0.54 beta 6. So the current Rescapp in beta 7 is Rescapp 0.54 beta 5. So this version is not completed but has some changes. So one of the changes is that every option now has a header which is built on build time, on Rescapp build time, so that I can have a header with some variables, so I can have the code, description, the Rescapp version from which this comes from, and so on. The other big change is that I have removed a Spanish translation, so everything is the English translation. And then at the bottom there's the footer, which now it doesn't say anything, but its documentation page has a common footer. So as you might know from earlier versions, there is a template for non-documented options. So as an example, we have easy Windows admin, and easy Windows admin, well, easy Windows admin has what's the name? It does not have documentation. So when you go here, you have the header not documented in the description, and then you have this text which says that this is an undocumented Rescapp option, and if you want me to document it, you should complain here. Yeah, so that's it. So now I want to release an stable Rescapp so that I have an stable Rescatax. So everything has been thought a lot. You've got these run options which you can cancel. You've got this blinking status image, so that you know that Rescapp is doing stuff. And then you've got the response down here, so that you know what's happening. You have the simple and the complex log, and now you also have these things, so that you enter, you see, choose an option to read this manual. Maybe I will need to blink this when you enter here, I'm not sure. Then once you are in an option, you've got another tip: read the manual below carefully and press the run button when ready. So that means that every one of these options should have a documentation. So some old options like the restore Windows MBR has documentation with screenshots. Okay. Another one is restore group. So you have these steps. You also have these screenshots from very old Rescapp versions, or maybe Rescattax, because Rescattax had Rescapp inside of it in the past, so there were not two programs but only one of them. So yeah, so now it's the time for me, unless I convince someone else, but I want to do it myself better because I know how everything works. So it's the time for me to go into every one of these options and document it so that it doesn't say that this is an undocumented Rescapp option. Okay. So I'm a bit worried about how to write this documentation. So there's a guy who I'm going to ask to look into this video, which let me search his name somewhere. Pull request. So the guy is CGG, so California, Jaguar, Germany, 67, and he worked for, he has some documentation background, and he has already contributed to the Rescapp documentation README, which now it's better than it was before, because before him there was not a Rescapp documentation. So let me see if I can, yeah, so this is the README, the new README, which he has written, which I might modify because I prefer it to be like the one from Supergroup to Disk, but which is a bit different. But yeah, it's a great work from him. So the Supergroup Disk has more, it's more, you want this, look at this file, you want this, look at this file, you want this, look at this file. His file has to match introduction, and I'm not sure about that. But anyways, the thing is that I want some advice from him so that he can tell me. So what I want from him is one example. So let's suppose the example is restore group. Okay, so this is restore group. There are the steps and there are the images. So this can be found in Rescapp. Okay, so Rescapp, where is this? Rescapp has plugins. So in the restore group is found in the group install directory, and then you have the local doc HTML. So here there is choose your language. This is the body, the HTML body. So here's the same thing you are seeing. So step 1, Rescapp searches for partitions that have so I tried to write this into Markdown, but I was not very convinced. So I thought that it was going to be quicker. It was going to be more fast to just use HTML because I know how it works, and then later on we can think about moving the documentation into Markdown. But so far it will be HTML. So HTML, then you've got the images, group install 001. So if you go into the group install images, you've got all of these images. So here you've got this image about selecting the partition. So this is my take. So I'm going to explain what was the thinking. What's the name? I'm going to explain what is how okay, let's start again. So I'm going to explain what went into my mind to design this documentation. So this documentation, which I should say that once you click on the button you no longer see it. I'm not sure if it's the right thing, but I think it's better to see everything that happens here. And then if you need to read the documentation, it means that you want to start the option again. So what went into my mind? So the idea is to know what Rescapp is going to do. So maybe it needs a summary of what it does, and it's here. Maybe there should be some other options to explain problems and answers. This might be in future versions, but will be other options. But the thing is, I'm going to explain what went into my mind. Okay. So so far, yeah. So far, okay, doesn't matter. I will say when the minute on the video so that you can skip all the chatting. So what I explain here is what the plugin does. So step 1, search for partitions. Step 2, what happens if partitions are found, and what happens if the partitions are not found. Well, I do not document what happens when the partitions are not found. So now I explain. You are supposed to choose your main new Linux distribution, which we will probably only see one, and press the OK button. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to do. Step 3, Rescapp searches. So I'm explaining what Rescapp does in the background. Okay, so it searches for hard disks, and then thanks to the proc partitions, then you are prompted which hard drive you wish to install group on. So you are supposed to identify your hard disk thanks to the size. Then you choose one of them. Later on, step 5, you are prompted order the hard disk, so you're supposed to order them. And then with all the information Rescapp does is its magic. We might want to add some more technical stuff, like this means typing group install. Yeah, it's here, so it's group install. Then there's the bold please wait. This is no longer needed in the documentation because we already have the status button, which blinks, so that means wait because this is running. Yeah, currently with Rescapp 0.25 23. That's long ago. This step is time consuming, but no please wait message has been implemented. So I implemented the please wait message, and now I implemented the please wait onto the status running button. Then you've got the group installation process, if it went okay or not. So what I want, and then finally there's this group install log which you can share. Maybe I need to specify that you can use the share log button to share stuff, but I don't know. So the idea is so the idea is that you have all of these steps which have more or less screenshots that I want to know if every option has to, if every step that has an option has to have a screenshot, if it has to, if I can use the if I can use which new Linux distribution image on every one of them, even if the question is another one, and if this is the right way of documenting so the option. So you are offline, so you are a final user, you are offline, and you use Rescapp. So maybe I need some other advice. So when you log in, there's the wait a second. Let's try to start again. Okay. So you've got this startup wizard. So we are going to say that yes, we want the wizard, that I want to change my monitor settings, and that I want to use these settings here. So as you can see, the dialog is moved into the screen. So language no, and cable layout no, because I think it's already an BNC server no. Now you have an option for skipping all of this. So in beta 7, Rescapp startup wizard has been completed. Press OK to start the Rescapp. Enjoy your recovery. So what you first see is the self-test window, so that you can see if what's the name? You can see if everything is okay for you, and you've got the tip: choose an option to read its manual. Okay, now I'm going to maximize this, and then you say, oh, let's restore group because whatever. So is this the right approach? So should I have, I mean, I want to have this header, because then I can ask which is the Rescapp version. I can ask the code for the option. So maybe the problem is that I don't remember. I know that the easiest way to fix Linux is EC group or something like that. So I can say EC group. So you will see here the EC group when EC new Linux boot fix is chosen. Now you cannot see it because there is no documentation associated to this option. But restore group, I know that the code is group install, so I can give advice using the code that I know rather than the name, which can change. So restore group can be another name in the future. Okay, so yeah, so what I am supposed to do here so that I can change it right now and everything every option has the same layout. So should I add a screenshot here? Should I add a diagram? Should I use something else rather than a step 1? Should I move this into here so that it's on the same line? Should I have some buttons so that you choose the different steps? Should I record the video and let play the video here with subtitles? I'm not very, I don't want to record. I want to record. Okay, let's start again. I want to record some videos for YouTube so that I have a new documentation which matches the current, the stable Rescapp. So I'm going to, how do you restore group? So you will have one video here which explains how you restore group, okay? But I'm not so sure about adding the video into Rescapp program. One reason is that text, you're supposed to read the text and understand everything, and the other thing is that Rescapp will be quite big depending on the resolution, and then I will have to deal with showing a video on different resolutions and so on, so it's more technically more techniques to be added. So I'm not sure if it's the better way. I can do it. We might also think not video but GIF, maybe GIF images, or some sort of slideshows based on images. So you've got an image and you've got some subtitles, and then you press and you've got the next one. This is quite work, but if we can automate the building of these HTMLs, because I want everything into a single HTML, so that's better, okay? But yeah, so that's what that's what I think about it. There are a lot of ideas. So this is a web browser. You can show whatever you want. You can show images. You can show with different. But so let's start again. What I would like as an advice is how to rearrange all of this text into here with some screenshots, with some images, and what's the best way of rearranging them so that I can have an example, and from that example I can document all of the other options, and then CJG67 can polish my English language, because my English language is not native. And then we have the better document, the better. Then we have the best documentation on the world, because it's embedded and it's right here, and you can read it, and you can know what this option is going to do. And maybe in the future you can know what are the problems that this option solves, and when it's advised to use it or not. So yeah, so maybe CJ CJG67 might say that he likes the way that the layout is shown, that this documentation is written. So if you've got the steps, you've got an explanation of the steps, and so on. And then once you have read all of this documentation, you can press run and enjoy. Then there's also the current documentation does not tell anything about this box being shown with all of the options, this button running here. Okay, so yeah, so maybe it's something to be added. So you get the idea. That's the advice that I want to be given. Let's see what if CG67 shows me a branch where he has some commits with some suggestions, and maybe I just he does a pull request and I gather it, or maybe he writes something in a LibreOffice document and I can read it, or maybe he does a mockup image, whatever, or maybe he's busy and he cannot help me. Anyway, if you are not CG, if you are not CGG67, you can also contribute back into the book, into the issue, which I'm going to put into the video's description so that we can have better Rescapp. Okay, so that's it. I guess I need a button to quit. So currently you just press the X key and you are not prompted if you want to quit or not. Okay, so that's it. Thank you everyone for listening to my advice again and again. Bye.